So it wasn't that long ago that Jonathan Estabrooks was a small boy singing in the chorus at the NAC as part of Opera Lyra's Ottawa Boys Choir. This week, though, the baritone standing center stage singing the part of Silvio in Opera Lyra's production of Pagliacci. Here he is, practicing his big romantic duet with Yannick Muriel Noah, who plays Netta.
Netta, Netta, rispondimi, se perché cagno la lastimai, se vero che un odio, il ramingar il mestier che tu fai, sei immenso amor tuo, una parola, questa notte partiamo, fuggi Netta con me.
Non mi tentar, vuoi tu perdere la vita mia? Tacci se vado più e deliro e follia. Io mi confido a te.
Jonathan Estabrooks as Netta. No, Jonathan Estabrooks singing the part of Silvio there, and what you're hearing now, though, is Yannick Muriel Noah as Netta in the Opera Lyra's Pagliacci, and the opera opens this weekend at the National Arts Centre. Jonathan Estabrooks is with me in studio. Hello there.
How are you?
I am fine. What's it like hearing yourself at that point?
It's the first time I've heard that recording, so there you go. Hey, it came out pretty well.
It's interesting always watching singers' expressions when they hear themselves a first time for the recording. You sort of, the face kind of tightened up a little bit, then you start mouthing the words sort of unconsciously, and then...
Right. Well, you know, we're eternal perfectionists, so nothing's ever good enough. But no.
But seriously, you listened to that and it didn't sound good enough?
It sounds. I mean, it's a work in progress. It's you know, the moment it becomes a non-work in progress will be the end of the career. I think I'm constantly wanting to improve and build on it. So yeah.
But just using that as an example, what are things that you hear in your performance day to day that you? I don't mean that you beat yourself up over. I just mean that you are still trying to finesse.
Well, you know, I mean, I think as a singer, I'm always trying to look at it as objectively as I can. You know, you have to love your voice as a singer in order to make it better and to improve it. So I love the sound, but I'm always listening to, you know, how was I breathing for that phrase? You know, was the sound, was there enough ping in the sound? Did I cover too much or not too much? A lot of this very technical, cerebral things. And then at some point you sort of pull back and go, was it a performance? Right. Did it convey a message through the voice? Because that's really, you know, what we do.
And when it comes time to approaching a part like Silvio in this opera, it's no small feat that you're taking on here. I wonder before rehearsals even begin, how much are you conquering that part, thinking about that part, absorbing it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think every singer approaches role study differently. Some will have roles that they're preparing for years at a time, and it's sort of on the shelf ready to go. I tend to work towards the next big thing, and this I knew about a year ago when I was contracted that this was going to be coming along. So I'd sort of been thinking about the role and how I was going to interpret it. He's such an interesting character. He really is Netta's escape. She's in this world of captivity, if you will. Canio, who's sort of taken her from the streets and helped her along, and she's joined this theater troupe. And Silvio comes along at a time when she's struggling with that life. She wants to find a better world. And
you're the way out.
I am really. Some call it the homewrecker.
But you that's good. You're in the part. You're trying to think of the positive side.
Right.
I'm her escape. I'm not the destroyer of this marriage. Right.
But I mean, it's such an interesting role because he really only has that one 11-minute scene, but yet it's so integral in the plot because so much of it is building towards that, and then of course his untimely demise. It is a tragedy.
Spoiler alert.
There you go.
A little too late, but yeah. but if that 11-minute scene though, and it's interesting. I never actually timed out the scene in the piece, but what's the arc for you as a performer as you're going through that? What are you trying? Is going through your mind as you're doing Silvio?
Well, you know, character-wise, he's a small-town small town guy. He's probably sees this theater troupe come through every year, and perhaps there's a relationship that he's built over many years with Nedda. So he at this point in the duet, he's sort of reached ahead in the relationship where it's sort of either you're with me or you're not. Enough of this. Enough of the way Canio treats you. In essence, it's an abusive relationship that she's in, and he said, enough of this. Let's go. Let's leave. Right. And so it really is a very climactic point in the opera. And she's saying, oh, maybe I do, maybe I won't. Is this right? And finally, at the end of the duet, she agrees. Okay, I'll meet you. I'll meet you tonight. And the Romeo and Juliet, if you will, and we'll finally run off together. So there's really that build, and you hear it in the orchestration. I had I sat in on the rehearsal with the NAC orchestra, and the verismo and the lushness of that texture. It's such raw emotion, and vocally, it's very wear your heart on your sleeve. So. That's been exciting to explore that.
I should mention that here we are doing a radio interview, but set up in the corner, there's a camera filming us right now that Jonathan brought in with him because you put stuff up on YouTube all the time.
That's right. Well, I have a show on YouTube called A Singer's Life. People can check out YouTube and just search A Singer's Life or / Jonathan Estabrooks. But I'm trying to engage people in opera, classical music in a different way. There's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Twitter, as I heard earlier, getting people to tweet you and all of that. And I feel like in many ways, classical music has been somewhat behind the times in terms of how we get the message out, how we engage young people. People are often intimidated by opera. They think, it's too intellectual. I'm never going to understand it. I have to wear a tux. And really, that's not the case at all. I mean, it always was an art form for the people. And so I'm hoping that friends of mine and other people will watch these shows and see a peek behind the stage and behind the scenes of how do we put this together? What are the elements of putting together an opera? It's exciting.
So, but I mean, that's a fantastic opportunity you have where you have access with a camera that a lot of people don't. But do you actually set the camera up during rehearsals? Or are you
I
on
have
stage?
To be sensitive in rehearsals, obviously, because
it'd be a little awkward if you're in the middle of your solo, you spin in with the camera and focus on Ned or something.
Steady cam suit on and trying to dance with. No. I mean, you have to be, of course, sensitive to that because rehearsals are a sacred space as well. But I've talked to the other singers and we've done a few interviews and catch a little bit here and there, so a certain controlled view inside the world, because of course we do need a certain privacy at times to work. But I really try and bring people in as much as I can into, and it's not necessarily just preparing for a show. It could be, I'm traveling off to the next gig or here or that, or what are the everyday challenges or adventures of a singer.
So people can check that out where?
YouTube.com / Jonathan Estabrooks.
Jonathan Estabrooks. All right. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming in today. We'll see. I should have combed my hair or something before if I'd known. But anyway, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Jonathan Estabrooks is Silvio in Opera Lyra's performance of Pagliacci. It opens on Saturday night. It runs until September 17th. For more information about the schedule and tickets, you can go to our website, cbc.ca / allinaday. And maybe we'll try and get a link up to Jonathan's site on there too, but our site is cbc.ca / allinaday.